In early 1950, a relatively unknown senator from Wisconsin walked onto a stage in Wheeling, West Virginia, and delivered a speech that would shake the United States to its core. His name was Joseph Raymond McCarthy, and the warning he issued that night about internal subversion, foreign infiltration, and threats within America's own government would ignite one of the most controversial political storms in American history. What McCarthy said, what he meant, and what the nation chose to do with his warning has been debated for more than 70 years. Some say he was a prophet who saw danger long before anyone else dared to speak. Others say he was a demagogue whose reckless accusations threatened the very freedoms he claimed to defend. But whatever one believes, the truth is this. McCarthy's warning was largely ignored and dismissed as extremism, fear-mongering, or political theater. And in the decades that followed, America would face new challenges that sounded eerily familiar. This is the story of that warning. Why America rejected it. And why, for better or worse, Joseph McCarthy still casts a long shadow over the nation today. The world McCarthy stepped into. To understand McCarthy's warning, we need to understand the world of 1950. World War II had ended just 5 years earlier. The Soviet Union, once America's uneasy ally, had become its primary antagonist. Stalin now controlled half of Europe, and Soviet-backed revolutions were spreading across Asia. Communism wasn't just an ideology, it was a geopolitical force. The US had lost China to Mao. The Soviets had detonated their first atomic bomb. American spies like Alger Hiss and the Rosenbergs had been caught passing secrets to Moscow. To many, it felt like the world was shifting, and not in America's favor. The fear was real. The question was how to respond. On February 9, 1950, McCarthy delivered his now infamous Wheeling speech. In it, he claimed the U.S. State Department was infested with communist agents, traitors working from within to undermine the nation. He held up a piece of paper and declared, "I have here in my hand the names of 205 individuals in the State Department who are known to be members of the Communist Party." The exact number would change in later retellings, but the message was clear. America was being subverted from the inside. To supporters, this was a courageous act, a lone senator exposing a threat others ignored. To critics, it was a baseless attack on loyal public servants. Whether McCarthy exaggerated, misunderstood internal security files, or intentionally inflated numbers remains debated. But what is certain is that the charge struck a nerve. America was listening. McCarthy quickly became a national figure. He chaired investigations into alleged communist activity in the government, entertainment industry, and military. Supporters saw him as a warrior for American values. Opponents saw him as a bully wielding accusations as weapons. But beneath the spectacle, McCarthy was tapping into something real. The fear that America was losing not from external invasion, but internal erosion. He warned that bureaucracies had been infiltrated, that universities were promoting ideologies hostile to American principles, that media organizations were shaping public thought in ways favorable to America's enemies, and that too many political leaders were afraid to speak openly about these trends. Whether one believes he was right or wrong, those concerns never fully disappeared. The tactics that destroyed him. McCarthy's downfall wasn't that he was concerned about communist infiltration, many were, but how he pursued it. His investigations often relied on unverified testimony, guilt by association, and public shaming. During the Army McCarthy hearings of 1954, millions of Americans watched him clash with decorated soldiers, lawyers, and witnesses. And then came the moment that cracked his public support. Attorney Joseph Welch challenged McCarthy's aggressive tactics, and the nation seemed to agree. McCarthy's approval plummeted. He was censured by the Senate, and within a few years, his influence evaporated. McCarthy the man faded. But McCarthyism, the controversy, the debate, the issues he raised lived on. So what did America ignore? What exactly was McCarthy warning America about? Not the specifics, the numbers, the files, the accusations, but the bigger picture. Here are the core themes of his warning. 1. Internal ideological subversion can be more dangerous than external enemies. McCarthy believed great nations rarely fall from invasion, they weaken from inside. 2. Institutions can be vulnerable. He pointed to government agencies, academia, and media as susceptible to political influence or infiltration. 3. Silence enables decline. McCarthy argued that leaders fear controversy and avoid speaking out, even when the stakes are high. 4. The public must stay vigilant. His underlying message was not about communism alone, but about complacency, the belief that America was too strong to be undermined. Whether one sees these as legitimate warnings or paranoid exaggeration depends on one's perspective. But they are themes that have resurfaced many times since. Over the decades, historians, politicians, and commentators have revisited the question. Was McCarthy completely wrong or simply dangerously right in the wrong way? Some point out that declassified documents, such as the Venona papers, confirmed that Soviet espionage was indeed more widespread than once admitted. Others argue that McCarthy harmed rather than helped national security by turning legitimate concerns into political chaos. But what's undeniable is this. The debate over internal versus external threats, institutions versus ideology, freedom versus security has never ended. Each generation reinterprets the warning. Each political moment finds new parallels, whether in foreign interference, polarization, misinformation, extremism, or domestic radicalization. McCarthy is not just a historical character. He is a symbol of a question America continues to struggle with. How do you protect a free society from forces that exploit its freedoms? The cost of ignoring the warning. If McCarthy's warning was ignored, what has been the consequence? Some argue that America has repeatedly underestimated internal ideological conflict. Others say the greater danger is overreaction to the suppression of dissent in the name of security. Both sides, ironically, claim McCarthy proves their point. But the heart of the matter is this. America never fully resolved the question he raised. Instead, the nation rejected the messenger, perhaps rightly, but left the message untouched. Joseph McCarthy died in 1957, disgraced and dismissed. But history rarely cooperates with neat endings. His warnings, however flawed or exaggerated, still resonate in modern debates about national identity, propaganda, institutional trust, and ideological conflict. We don't have to admire McCarthy to recognize that he tapped into a question America still wrestles with. How do you preserve a nation's values when the real struggle might be happening within its borders, within its culture, and even within its institutions? His warning was ignored. But the conversation he sparked was uncomfortable, messy, and unresolved. This is the legacy of Joseph McCarthy. Not the lists, not the hearings, not the scandals, but the warning we still haven't figured out how to answer. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe using the link below so we can continue making new content. Your subscription to the channel means a lot to us. Also like and comment. See you in our next video.